tidal wave is just
Okay, we're
rolling right
talking
over
right now
the,
about worst case
the,
scenario
the
with the Gulf of
sandbar
Mexico.
water is. But even without that, there's just we're going to be surrounded on all sides by the oil. It's going to be racing up the East Coast. It already is going up the East Coast. And there's just going to be more and more and more. And the more of this, if they keep using this as first, it's too terrible to even say. Wiping out the whole southeast United States, having this being a totally destroyed environment. I mean, these things are, where are these people going to go?
Oh yeah, I know.
And how about 6 months from now, and how about a year from now? They don't stop this, and they're not really seriously talking about stopping it. I mean,
Yeah, that's just it. Where would these people possibly go? And who's going to fund the bill? A lot of people right now are living paycheck to paycheck due to the economic impact that a lot of this has had on the Gulf region and just the economy in general. The global elite bringing down the economy. Um,
yeah. And on top of everything else, global cooling is really something very real. You know, the climate change, it might not be getting warmer, it's certainly changing between incredible amounts of rain and cool weather and cooling weather. Food stocks are going to drop like rocks. It's been the last 2, 3 years, it's been declining. The amount of food we have, reserves on the planet are very, very slim. And now we're talking about destroying a whole huge area of food production. The Gulf is incredibly wealthy in terms of food production and seafood.
yeah,
Up in Canada, the prairie is flooded. I mean, the United States government, the USDA, just reduced by a million tons, metric tons, corn production. I mean, being hit by many, many sides, and even by the government, who won't even has the dignity or the honesty to tell people what the threat is, and if they're not going to move, what to do to protect themselves. I mean, how?
well, it's almost like they were planning for this ahead of time. Like almost like they did with the pandemic level 6 thing, the World Health Organization guidelines. Now we found out that there's a 100-mile zone around the whole border of the United States that's deemed a non-constitutional zone. So the Constitution is theoretically suspended in this 100-mile band around every border of the United States, which includes the Gulf Coast region, 100 miles inland. So essentially, on premise to do whatever they want.
You asked me a question about the United Nations. I don't trust the United Nations as far as I could fit into a gale wind or a hurricane wind. I mean, this organization, from its inception to the present, it inspires not a drop of trust. These people will be the last people who should be recommending or ruling or governing the world. So I don't know which is worse, the United States government or the United Nations. And maybe you can't really separate at the top. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think they're all in the of the same two pieces of the same pond, I guess you would say. Now the way they got everything set up, moving towards world government, it's it's getting to be pretty much just sickening what's going on with the whole control issue. You know how they're trying to control the whole populace around the world and just working us into a bind. It seems like at every turn. They're like heading us off of the path almost, and it keeps going and going, and more laws keep getting passed, and it just we're almost in a totally Orwellian police state now, essentially. Now there's reports of BP essentially just tells the police what to do, and the police just go and pull over anyone and question that BP tells them to. So we're to the point now to where corporations control law enforcement.
Yeah, I think we're really the final stages of the collapse of our civilization approaching. We're going to see many, many things we'd never believe we would ever see in our lifetimes. a Nazi police, international state. This is what they want. My belief and my prayer is that they're not going to get it. That they're so arrogant that no human has really been able to calculate what this present situation, and as it deteriorates, including the financial collapse, and millions, or tens or hundreds of millions of people who had something and had a good life, losing everything at the same time, or within the space of a few short years. I mean, how much can they control? And there are people who feel like we're going to go totally to anarchy, meaning that their plans are going to fail. That they're just not going to be able to control everything that's going to go on. Now, they'll try, and we're going to be watching them try. And we saw this in the G20 in Toronto. The police it was just a police state. They just went in, did whatever they wanted to do, and they did it legally, and the lawyers of the country found out, and surprisingly, that there's some very dramatic laws on the books already that allow the police to just totally abuse everybody.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe they paid over $1.2 billion on security just to protect a few of the bankers.
Yeah.
I mean, what a waste,
Right. Especially considering they could have video conferenced it and it cost nothing. You can all stayed at home and we have sophisticated. You don't have to get together to have cocktails. And who paid for that $1 billion? I mean, they're ridiculous. These are monsters. Really. These are guys. These are people we trust to with our world. And now we're in a real bind. Now we have the Gulf going on, and we still have only the same people to trust.
Oh yeah.
We're really. I mean, the words I would use you really can't say on the radio. But
I know what you're saying. We're gonna go to break. We're with Dr. Mark